Welcome everybody to Blockfighters 2025. I'm really happy to be here. I'm Jimmy Ragosa, also known as jrag.if. I'm here with Christina Frankopan and Nicola Bacca. It's my first year here emceeing with those two great friends, these battles. So for people who were not here for the first 2 years, the concept of Blockfighters is that it's going to be fast-paced 15-minute battles between two debaters talking about a spicy topic, trying to go back and forth, launching attacks. There will be no real fightings, but it will be way less boring than all the other talks, so bring your friends up there. I will be moderating some of the first debates. We'll talk about Memecoin, the Ethereum foundations, scalings, battle of the VMs, TradFi, custody. It's going to be fast-paced and great. Bring all your friends here. You will be able to vote live during the battle. Just scan one of the QR codes and we will open the vote during the battle. At the end, we'll check the results and there will be a big winner for each battle. It's going to be fun. It's great to be here with you. And I think we can start with the first battle, even if there's going to be some improvisation with one of the fighters. Let's start. Thank you, Nicola. Thank you, Christina.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
So, our first battle is going to be about Memecoins. The title of the battle is Memecoins Hangover. Are they a retail Rampant or are they a Rampant ripoff? So, let's start with the first battle and bring on our two fighters. Pick up a mic.
I don't bite without consent, I should have said.
Please pick up a mic, George, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
So you might be wondering, does this guy look like David Hoffman? No. He's a brave member of the audience who's replacing David Hoffman, who's not here, but he might come at any moment and just bump your fist and come on the ring just to throw something at Paul. So let me do a quick intro. On my left, we have the global EY blockchain leader. He's been shilling Ethereum to big companies before you were even born. He's a legend, and he's going to be opposing Memecoins. That's his position.
Wait, I think we agreed that to give George the you want to oppose Memecoins, right?
I'm sort of fine either way.
Okay.
I have a lot of negative things to say about them.
Okay, so you can oppose Memecoins and I'll be pro Memecoin. That'll be quite.
We're switching position. Paul Brody is pro Memecoins, and we have George O'Brien that I just met 5 seconds ago. So I'm not gonna do the intro, but I'm sure he's a great guy, and he'll be opposing Memecoins because that's the easier position. So let's start. We titled the fight Memecoins Hangover because we had a fight last year during the start of the peak of the bull run of Memecoins. And now it's 1 year later, and I want to ask you both, what changed your mind in the last year? Did the new Memecoins change anything in your position? Did you try out some? Did you own some? So what's your opinion about the last year in Memecoins, and what did it change in your view?
So I'm going to take the pro Memecoin position, and the reason I'm going to do that is because it's more than just what's happened in the last year. If you were to look back over the last few years, the truth is that the blockchain industry, we've had our ups, we've had our downs, right? And boy, we are very good at the downs. And we just spent, prior to November of last year, 4 years, particularly in the US market, in basically the deep freeze. And in the deep freeze, it was really difficult for business to thrive. Exchanges struggled, entities struggled, companies struggled to raise money. And so the value proposition of Memecoins, frankly speaking, is they kept our mouth above water, right? They generated trading fees, they kept the business going, they paid for a lot of really essential activity. There's a lot of companies that would never have paid for proper audits and attestations and security reviews if they didn't have the revenue coming from Memecoins. So do I love everything about Memecoins? Absolutely not. Do I believe that they played an absolutely essential role in keeping the business going at an exceptionally dark time in the history of the industry? I do. And so all things being equal, I think one of the starting things you have to recognize is that meme coins played an essential role, and they did so even when they did so especially when you consider that they were not ideal, but the conditions created didn't give the industry a lot of other choices.
What do you think, George?
So I always like the idea of companies being something that a society should want to exist. And if your company is surviving solely off meme coins, you do not deserve to exist. If you look at the inefficiency from the money that they're taking off people, which effectively they are scams, the cost of running that's just being wasted, both in terms of electrical infrastructure costs and, I mean, we're in the middle of a heat wave. I feel like arguing about some climate stuff is here there. Yes, they've let people continue their businesses, and I'm sure those businesses are important to people, but we need something that's actually benefiting, some end goal that's doing some good, and I don't think meme coins can ever do that.
So
Did meme coins brought some new users to the space, at least?
meme coins absolutely brought some new users to the space. Now, I don't want to exaggerate, right? If gambling was this thing that you could use to onboard people into the financial system, Las Vegas would be the home of the world's savviest investors. It's not, right? So let's not overstate the value proposition of meme coins, but it brought millions of people on chain, and it did it in a way that was really important because the truth is, and this is a fair critique of Ethereum and really every other blockchain ecosystem, user experience sucks. Right, and so a really famous venture capitalist in Silicon Valley once said, if you want to really supercharge your business, don't think about sort of really creating a useful solution or helping people solve problems. Go directly to the 7 deadly sins, right? And so if you want people to overcome all of the grit, challenges, problems in the user experience and onboard into crypto, gambling is probably a relatively good choice. Right? And the truth is, if gambling is allowed in the real world, if online gambling is allowed, if we're allowed to have DraftKings and Las Vegas on online betting, then why not meme coins? Fundamentally, it is a question of personal freedom, but I think the attraction of gambling in this space absolutely brought millions of people on, and it got them to overcome a lot of significant user interface inertia.
So to be clear, the argument here is it's like gambling, but less regulated and more open to the public. And I just don't feel like I need to say anything here.
Who is this ringer? Who's the ringer that we just picked up off the street?
So are you glad that most of the new users coming from meme coins gambling are not going to the Ethereum ecosystem, but another ecosystem?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're putting out a mousetrap, you're going to catch mice. If you're putting out these sort of meme coins, you're going to attract the users that are attracted to meme coins. If we're looking for legitimate developers, what they're going to be looking for is, legitimate technology, legitimate development. And if you Google any cryptocurrency thing, all you're going to see is stuff infested with pictures of dogs.
We had that before. Let's be clear. FTX was telling everybody that they were a legitimate exchange, right? So it's not like the prohibition on meme coins or an aversion to meme coins improve the quality of our ecosystem. And it's a great anecdote that you give, but the reality is that if you look at the big exchanges that have shilled to some degree meme coins, when the opportunity to enter into legitimate useful transactions came into this market environment, they pivoted back to doing that. So I think it is, on the one hand, I think it's easy to be super cynical about meme coins, but the reality is they kept the industry afloat, and they don't seem to have destroyed the overall direction and integrity of the industry. Now that the gates have opened up again, we've got this flood of stable coins and useful applications. So I don't think the diversion was so damaging that we didn't recover.
Do you think there could be a better model of meme coins that could bring something to the space?
I mean, once it's a better model, it's not a meme coin anymore. I can see that there's a certain amount of validity in the fact that the people who knew what they were doing weren't sufficiently distracted by meme coins. I don't think that's the same as an argument for them actively benefiting, which is what you're saying. I think if you look at the actual statistics of how meme coins are traded, close to 0% effectively, an actual rounding error, are actually done on chain. Most of them are just done through traditional exchanges. So it becomes closer to what is effectively day trading on opinions, which I guess is also normal stock trading. I know that too, but yeah, I think they, to an extent, I almost see meme coins as completely side effects to like what we'd see as decentralized technology. It's similar, but it's not trying to do the same objectives. It's not really the same people, and the money for people who are joining and leaving, I mean, it doesn't distract us because we're not involved. Who here is a meme coin?
We got some meme coiners here, right?
So now that the regulatory environment is more open, do you think that it's the end of meme coins?
It's not the end of meme coins, but I do think it is going to be, meme coins are going to be a smaller part of the overall ecosystem. They had their place, they had their moment, but they're not completely done. And the reason they're not completely done is that fundamentally, meme coins are gambling, right? How many of you visited pump.fun lately? Not lately. So I went yesterday in preparation for this little discussion, and I'll be honest with you, like, some of this stuff is entertaining. Right, if you could package this up in like a TikTok type of model, right, you could have a constant stream of absolutely insane people pumping their coins, all the time. So I think as entertainment, right, in the same way that gambling is never going to be done, meme coins are never going to be done, right? And I think you can look at places like Las Vegas, and you can make the argument again that they're not the best cities, but what would be in Las Vegas without Las Vegas? I'm pretty sure nothing, based on what the rest of Nevada looks like.
What about you, Josh? What do you think the meme coins will be in 1 year?
No, I think you're right there. We're never going to get rid of them. I think at the end of the day, like you say, people always do enjoy gambling. And despite absolutely everything around that, if you want to gamble and actual gambling regulations prevent you from doing that, there's ways to siphon up the side alleys of, like, in the same way that a lot of cryptocurrency payments can be used when you have illegal money that needs to be laundered. Once again, wouldn't argue that's a good thing, but blockchain's ability to circumvent laws and regulations is it's a constant struggle, I think, something that we really sort of need to get into a handle on.
So I think if we want to keep meme coins, we actually should tax them, and we should treat it like a form of gambling, and we should just allow this to exist, and it should be taxable, and we should treat it what it is, which is it is effectively a form of entertainment that has risk and potential for addiction, but I think that the millions of people that got onboarded into crypto through meme coins will eventually find, I hope, other things to do.
Do you think it's been more egalitarian to be rugged by a random dev than rugged by VCs?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Right now, in meme coins, mostly you're rugged by the core dev, which just rugging out the liquidity. In other coins, VC coins, you're rugged by the VCs who've been in the pre-seed. Is that better in a way?
Well, I mean, no. No, I actually think this is something that plagues absolutely everything. Is that, I mean, blockchain has a bad reputation.
What?
Decentralized coins have a bad reputation outside of this room. If I asked my dad what he thought of blockchains, he'd probably laugh at me. I think that's true of a lot of us. And I think there's good reason for it as well.
Yeah, there's absolutely good reason to it. One of the things I firmly believe is that this industry is fantastic at providing material for our critics. Like, we are world class at this. Traditionally, we like to do it in the US, we do it at the beginning of November so that you have something embarrassing to talk about with your family over Thanksgiving. But actually, a regulated meme coin industry would be, again, I think would be useful, right? Regulated meme coin industry is now just gambling. At the end of the day, like, if you go over the Thanksgiving dinner table and you say, wow, I lost the kids' college fund by being rugged in meme coins, your family members will say, you're an idiot, right? But if you have to go to Thanksgiving dinner and say, I lost the kids' college fund because I have a gambling problem, you won't say it, right? This will actually lead to better family conversations. People will know that what they're doing is gambling. They will treat it legitimately as such. It will actually be a step forward in kind of social peace in the United States, right? Because people will just be too ashamed to admit that they lost their children's college fund gambling on meme coins.
Small intermission. For the audience, don't forget to scan the QR code and try to vote.
For those of you who just arrived recently, please know that I did bribe the audience beforehand to make sure I won.
And know that George bravely replaced David Hoffman at the last minute, so also he deserves some votes.
But there were no explicit rules against audience bribery, and I am willing to pay.
Okay. Can I get one?
EY NFTs. EY legal department says they have no cash value, but you can sell them on OpenSea.
All right. Let's focus on some categories of meme coins. The most famous recently were the political meme coins. What did you think about the Trump meme coins? They got the right to go to a dinner and see Trump for 5 seconds and not even shake hands with him. Was that good enough?
I mean, that was quite obviously a crime. Like, what he was trying to do was crime, I think. And he successfully did crime because the unregulated meme coin allowed him to legally do crime. And I think that might be a bad thing.
But you're not certain, right? And to be clear though, that particular activity took place on a blockchain that shall not be named. But I would like to speak in favor. I think what it provides is commendable transparency in the discourse between ordinary people and our elected leaders.
Could it bring bribery too?
And I said commendable transparency. Both George and I work for large corporations that need to be careful about the things that we say. I think commendable transparency can be interpreted creatively by the people who know what we're talking about.
When can we expect the first EY meme coin?
It's already available. They're already available. So, actually, one of our key contributions is we're building privacy technology so that you can have your commendable privacy, you can have your commendable transparency in secret, which I think is something else that will really enhance the whole business relationships between consumers and their elected representatives.
George, a last word just to convince the audience that they shouldn't get into meme coins if they don't have them yet.
I mean, I suppose the core thing is if you enjoy having your money, then just do that. Or at least less volatile gambling. Like, go somewhere that'll give you a drink with it.
That is a great idea. We should open up a meme coin location with complimentary beverages. I thank you for your support of the industry, George.
Yeah. Let's open our regulation and tax one, right? We'll call it unregulated tax evasion coin.
I feel like that's too obvious. I think we should call it transparency and fairness in taxation coin.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
Thanks to our fighters. That was a great debate. You have... Yeah, let's bump gloves.
That is the full extent of the violence that you will see in the physical violence that you will see in this event.
The results are already here. 3 votes for David, who became George. 7 for Paul. So let me give you... Paul is the winner. Thank you.
George, thank you for being a good sport.
Yeah,
pleasure.
Really. Thank you. Let me shake your hand.
I thought the
Here, I'll show you the way out.
argument might not fit this crowd particularly well.